My name is Tiffani Neal with Barlow's Foods, and you are now tuned in to Talk Shitake podcast.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Talk Shitake podcast. We're changing it up again for you today. We're actually coming to you from the hall at the beautiful, darling Josephine, an amazing event space in Adair Park. If this is your first time here, please consider staying a while, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and then of course come back and see us. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Fern, your operations director here at Leaven Kitchen, and we're coming at you weekly. We're talking to small businesses, we're talking to consultants, and we want to make sure you're right with your food business and give you some tips and tricks. So please consider staying a while. Again, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get it. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Talk Shitake podcast. We're here with another news segment, and today we're actually talking about food trucks. So Leaven Kitchen, right, is some of you may or may not know, is a licensed and certified shared kitchen facility, right? The main thing that people kind of don't understand when they're looking for a shared kitchen facility is, I guess they actually automatically think food truck, right, or caterers and things like that. But there are a couple of different licenses that you need to get when you are starting a food business, right? So if you are a caterer or a food truck, for example, you need to find a kitchen that's licensed under the Department of Health. Now, food trucks are one of those things where I wouldn't say it's dangerous, right? There's just a lot of factors that can come into play when it comes to food safety. You know, things like making sure you have proper hand sinks, and you know, basically needs to be a mobile kitchen, but a mobile certified kitchen, right? It's not only on wheels, it needs to be safe and healthy to serve your customers. So part of that, back in May, they actually signed a new law, at least in the Atlanta area, in the Georgia area rather, called HB 1443. And that's going to be going into effect here on January 1st. And the great thing about that law, especially for local food trucks, is that they can now get one central license, say in DeKalb County. And with that one license, they're able to operate in any other county. What's great about that, especially for our food trucks here in the area, a lot of them are minority owned, black owned, brown owned, right, is cost. So before, if I'm based out of DeKalb and I wanted to go over to Fulton or wherever, right, the surrounding counties, I would have had to apply for a license in that county in order for me to show up at an event. So it made it complicated, right? So now with this new law going to effect, each individual county will now be able to accept your one license, which is great. Now there are some caveats to that. You're still going to have to let the county know, hey, I have an event here, you know, in Fulton. I'm based over out of DeKalb. You know, what are the steps I have to do? And really those steps, and what this law allows for, is for them to sign off. What they'll basically do is they'll look over your paperwork. They'll see, yes, you are licensed, and of course do all the, you know, their due diligence, right? Make sure you have food safety certification and all that good stuff. But this is a huge step for the food truck scene and just that food truck sector overall, those small businesses in the Atlanta area especially, because we have a lot of surrounding counties, right? There's quite a bit going on all around us. So definitely look out for that. Great news for food truck businesses. You know, hopefully we as Leaven can do something for those businesses on down the line. Of course, right now we can't. But definitely a great law that has just passed. So definitely look out for that. I looked it up. Was looking up some information the other day. Actually, just recently attended a regulatory breakfast where Department of Health was there, FDA, all of those good folks. So learned a lot of great information. It was a great overall sort of, I'd say, what do they call it? Just event where you can go and speak to other people. I was probably the wrong guy to go there. I'm more of a quiet guy. I don't really like to talk to anyone else if I don't have to, right? But it was a good event, gained a lot of good information, and this is one of those things. So if you do own a food truck, you're in the Atlanta area, from what I hear, about 1,400 food trucks alone have applied for licenses here in the last year. So it's definitely blowing up. So definitely look out for that. We'll have a link down in the description on what that law means to your business. And if you don't know, right on our resource page of Leaven's website, you can reach out to our consultant. She goes by the name of Lauren Carey. Her company's called Sorghum and Rye. And even though you're not a part of Leaven, she can do your own thing, and she can help you navigate that process in terms of becoming fully licensed and licensed properly. So again, law is called HB 1443. Look out for that, learn some stuff, and just come back and see us here at the Talk Shitake podcast.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your girl Ash, and I am back again, of course, for another amazing episode here at Talk Shitake Podcast. We have another amazing Leaven member in the building with us today, and she's going to be doing an amazing interview with us. This is my girl, actually. I call her Tiff, but she goes by Tiffani, of course. Tiffani Neal with Barlow's. So we got you in the building with us today. Finally, we had to make an appointment with her because she's really Tell everybody who Tiffani is and talk to us a little bit about Barlow's.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're so welcome, girl.
We're
talking Shitake.
So yes, my name is Tiffani Neal. I'm the founder, creator of Barlow's Foods. We make breakfast better for families and food service professionals. So it's a 3-in-1 pancake, biscuit, and waffle mix. We believe in better for you ingredients. So the premise of Barlow's is Barlow Harris, which is my grandfather. So the company started to honor him. Yes, so he was a farmer. He was very much dedicated to agriculture for a majority of his life, or his working life. And I just wanted to bring something full circle. We didn't come from much. My family, there wasn't much that was passed down to us. And my grandfather literally would work these different farms, tend to different livestock, and never owned any of it, right?
Wow.
So never owned any of it. Like even the skill set of farming, back then it was just more so of a way to get by, right? A means of living. Or just like work, right? Like I think a lot of people were farming, especially in our in our history and our culture. But I just wanted to find a way to honor him, to honor his name, his legacy, and also mesh my love for cooking together. So that's kind of how the company started.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So the product itself, it comes from, I'm gonna read the back of the actual pancake mix bag, pancake and waffle mix bag, and biscuit mix bag.
All three.
It is our story. Barlow's, basically a combination of what she just said. Barlow's was created to honor a grandfather, veteran, and a farmer by always using whole natural ingredients. We are committed to helping you create great family memories centered around food for generations to come. So with that being said, I understand that you make all the ingredients. They're all organic, correct?
So, well, 90% of the mix is organic. We use an organic red wheat flour. And the other ingredients, I mean, we use like a Himalayan salt, right? So I feel like just the origin of that, there's not really like an organic versus non-organic, but it's
but no sugar, no artificials added. So a birdie told me you can also make ice cream cones.
Yes, you can make ice cream cones. So it's just a very versatile mix. So it's something that, I don't know, how you're set up at home, but I don't like a lot of clutter. I don't like a lot of multiple packages and things like that in my cabinet. So this is just like a one and done. So again, if you want to do breakfast, you can do breakfast with the mix. If you want to do ice cream cones, right, and do like a fun activity with your kids, or have something for dessert, you might get a little snacky at night, right? You can just go in there and you literally can make anything. The options are endless. Yes.
What are a couple of other options that they can make with it, or that you've seen people make with it, or that you've done?
So I've done cobblers. You can do like peach cobblers, berry cobblers. You just make the mix up and you just pour it over whatever fruit, like topping or whatever fruit you want to use. You can fry chicken with the mix. So if you want to do that, you can use it as like a batter to fry things with. I've made shortbread cookies with the mix. I mean, the options literally are endless. And you can do so many different things with it.
Awesome. With the mix itself, I know that you said that you wanted to give something back, to honor your grandfather, all of the hard work that he put in for generations that he did that for, but why pancake mix? Why pancake mix over any other item that you could have possibly, distributed? Why did you choose that?
The spirit of Aunt Your Mama took. Oh no, I'm just kidding.
Because you also, speaking of that, though, you also have a syrup. You have a lot of other things too that go with, that mix. So why?
Literally, I do not know. I got obsessed with pancakes. I knew that pancakes would be like. I feel like who doesn't like pancakes? Like who doesn't like pancakes? Who doesn't know what pancakes are? So I knew that it was like kind of a foot in the door for other things. But I made amazing pancakes. A friend of mine had them, but he had a lot of other food too. But for some reason, the pancakes just really stood out.
Okay.
And when he said that, I just got obsessed with it. I ran with it. And, I just think that you don't really have to educate people on what that is. You don't have to
Do a whole lot of,
and it just gives us
pretty basic,
just an entryway to do other things.
I
So,
love that.
yeah.
I love that. Where do they find your product? I know that you're first of all, tell us about the other products that you offer outside of just the mix, and then where do they find these products?
Yes, so we have 2 mixes. So we have the original 3-in-1, and then we have a gluten-free that will be launched soon. It's actually gluten-free packaging. And then we also have a line of syrups. So we do a peach cobbler syrup, which is our best seller. People love the peach cobbler.
So
We do maple. I have a sweet potato that will be released soon for
Sweet potato
fall.
syrup?
Yes.
I definitely need to try that.
It is so good. It's
Need
so
it.
good. But we just try to, make things according to the season. So very seasonally based. But you can find our things online at barlowsfoods.com, around social at Barlow's Foods. And then if you just go to the Find Us tab on our website, there's a list of the different stores that we're in.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Do you do any type of like markets or anything like that? Will people actually find you live anywhere or no?
Sometimes. So if you want, you could just, follow us on social media. Typically, if we do anything live, then it'll be posted. And then also you can go to go to the website, get on the email list, and then we'll make sure that we just keep you updated with everything that's going on.
This girl does amazing. She does a lot of things, you guys. I mean, from just different community events. You can find her in, different nursing homes. I've seen her. She had her customer appreciation day she did at this amazing winery. It was a really pretty setup there. But she does a lot. She does a lot for the community as well, with her product as well. Talk to me before we close out really quick about your experience at Leaven. So you are a Leaven member. You've been there. You're there a lot. More than I would like to see you. I'd like to see you sleep some, but it's okay. I get it. I get your hustle, girl.
Right.
But talk to us a little bit about your experience being at Leaven, just operating your business. Your business is booming in such a capacity in a shared kitchen space, and how it works for you.
Yeah. I don't really have too much experience with shared kitchens. I was in I say half of one prior to Leaven. So I think it's been a little bit, maybe about a year at Leaven. I don't know. I don't think it's been that long. But so far so good. I just think that it's a great community. It's good energy, right? Like for me, I feel like we're artists. All of us, like artisans and food makers. So just to be around other people that are also just really creative and passionate about what they're doing, it's just a little bit energetic, you know? So it's been good.
I agree. I love it there. Great energy. If you guys are looking for a shared kitchen space, make sure you check us out. You can go directly to the website. It's going to be www.leavenkitchen.com. You can actually find Tiffani there. Her company will be there under members. You can look for Barlow's and look for the logo, and you can actually click on it, and then it'll navigate you over to her site if you would like to look and see more about what she offers and whatnot. How do they find you on social sites? How do they book you for events, or are you available for that?
You can email me.
Yeah.
Right.
And we'll talk.
We'll talk about it.
How do they reach you?
So yeah, you can find me at barlowsfoods.com and at Barlow's Foods across all social platforms.
Awesome. You heard it right here. Of course, our another amazing Leaven member, Miss Tiffani Neal with Barlow's. You guys, it's been a great episode here. Y'all know what we're about to do? We're about to sign out. We'll see you next time.
Hey y'all, welcome back. We're talking Shitake here again at the beautiful hall at Darling Josephine. You're in the kitchen with Fern. You'll notice Ash isn't here. She skipped out on me. Just kidding. But what I want to go over today is food safety, especially around the holidays and at home, right? It's definitely important that a food business is being food safe, right? We're serving other people. We want to make sure we're not getting folks sick, and we of course want to make sure our business is okay and good to go. But food safety is just important in your house, right? You're gonna have folks over. You wanna make sure you're thawing correctly. You wanna make sure you're checking temperatures correctly, right? Are we supposed to be putting a whole frozen turkey in a deep fryer, things like that? How long should we keep things out sitting on the counter? So we're just gonna go over a few tips and tricks. We're also gonna have some links down in the description that I've pulled up here. One of them is fsis.usda.gov. It's a mouthful. Again, we'll have a link down there. But they have a really, really good section in there on quit food safety confusion, cold turkey this holiday season, right? And really what they're referring to is they're going to explore common turkey myths and all of that kind of stuff. So they're going to sort of dive into that. And for me, again, it's important that people are being food safe. Part of that, and what we're going to actually talk about and dive in today, is thermometers, right? Using the proper thermometer, calibrating your thermometers, right? And also just making sure, again, we're being food safe. So the most common thermometer we have is called a bimetallic stemmed thermometer. You see this guy everywhere. Now this is a fancy one. You know, it's got a nice big legible sort of dial there, nice, easy to read, stainless steel, all of that good stuff. But when you look at a bimetallic stemmed thermometer, right, is a few different things. One is that these markings need to be easy to read and legible, right? If you can't read it, then you know, if you can't read it properly, right, then you know the fear and the danger of food safety exists, right? You can get folks sick if you're not cooking things up to their minimum internal temperatures. But what this thermometer also has is a dimple. So right on the stem, so this one, it luckily is really close to the tip of it, right? But this has a dimple. Some of them I've seen, I have one at home, the dimple's like right down here. So really this thermometer is meant to be used and best to be used with thicker foods. You know, things like your turkey, your roasts, your ham, things of that nature. You're checking those internal temps, right? You want to make sure that you're putting this thermometer up to the dimple so you're getting a proper reading. From there, a good rule of thumb is about 15 seconds for most things, right? When it comes to roasts and other things, a lot of times it's like 4 minutes at a certain temperature. But what I'm also going to link below is a link on those proper cooking temperatures, right? So a good thing to keep note, just when you're thinking in general food safety, right, is please give safe food. If you can remember that, you can remember your cooking temperatures. So when we look at please, right, please is poultry, PP, right? So poultry should be cooked, that's the highest, that should be cooked to 165 degrees, no matter what. If it's ground poultry, if it's chicken, if it's turkey, whatever it is, your minimum internal cooking temperature is 165. From there you have give, right? That's going to be your ground meats, your ground pork, your sausage, things of that nature. So ground, give, ground, G, right? And that's 155. So you should be cooking those things up to 155 degrees at minimum. And then you have safe. Some of you are going to side eye and think we're talking crazy, but again, it's food safety. This is what you should be cooking these foods to. So when it comes to that safe, or the S, we're talking about seafood and steak, right? As opposed to ground beef and your ground products and all that, your cuts of beef and pork and things of that nature should be cooked to a minimum of 145. Now, of course, you have medium rare and all those things. You know, a lot of folks aren't going to poke their steaks and all of that good stuff. Are you going to get sick? Probably not. Should you cook them up to their minimum internal temperatures? Probably yes, right? It's one of those things. But that's why you find sort of that asterisk in menus, right? Eating raw meat or and things of that nature can lead to foodborne disease. Really what they're doing there, if you think about it at a restaurant level, is they're CYA, right? They're covering their butt. So in that case, again, the S, or the safe portion of that, right? Please give safe food. We're talking about seafood, we're talking about steak. And then from there, we're looking at 135 degrees. So that's the please give safe food, right? So F, or fruits and vegetables, right? Things like your beans and your grains and all of that good stuff. So why is it important, right? Well, if you're in the food service industry, you've probably heard about the term the danger zone. When they talk about the danger zone, that's the temperature zone from 41 degrees and 135. So the longer that things stay in that danger zone, the more susceptible they are to growing things like pathogens and just getting folks sick, right? When you look at things like E. coli or salmonella, some of those things are actually cooked. Once you cook up to a certain temperature and boiling and all of that good stuff, you start to run less risk of getting sick by those things. So again, always think, please give safe food, poultry, ground meat, seafood steaks, fruit. So just keep that in mind, and that's going to be your temperatures. Of course, you're probably not in food service. That's okay. You don't need to memorize all that. And again, we're going to have a link in the description with a nice one-sheeter, because you want to keep yourself, your family, and your guests safe, right? So a big part of that is the thermometer. So again, we talk about the bimetallic stemmed. So one of the other features, along with the dimple on this guy, is again those easy to read markings, but there's actually sort of a little nut or a little bolt here, There's actually a little nut here that allows you to adjust this thermometer. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. One is called the boiling point method. And really with that, right, water boils at 212 degrees. So what you do is you get yourself a big pot, fill it with water, get it up to boiling. You then stick this guy in there, and then you grab some pliers and you adjust that to 212 degrees. Problem with that, it's boiling water, right? There's gonna be steam, it's gonna be super hot. Really not ideal, but you can get it done in a pinch, especially if you don't have ice, which leads to the preferred method. So I have a pitcher of ice water here. Typically what you wanna do is you fill this with ice, you fill it with water, you stir it around. And the idea here is that water boils, just kidding, water freezes at 32 degrees, right? So obviously I'm sitting here touching this, there's no steam coming out, I'm not worried about any of that, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that you wanna stick this guy sort of right in the middle, you don't want it touching the edges or anything like that, and sort of wait for it to get to temperature. Now this is it has a dial, right? It's gonna take a little bit to get down to where I need it to be. But once it's down there and it's nice and consistent, what you then do is you take that nut with pliers and you adjust that down to 32 degrees. And that's what we call calibration. We're calibrating this thermometer. Now, I can tell you, even though I work in the food industry and all that, and I teach food safe classes, I can't tell you the last time I calibrated this thing. But you should be calibrating it honestly before you use it every time, if you drop it, things like that. Because again, you want to make sure you're keeping folks safe that you're feeding. And then we'll talk about the more efficient, the better thermometers that are obviously more expensive, right? We'll talk about those here shortly. But again, this is the most common. So in looking at this guy, it looks like I'm at 38 degrees. So that means this isn't calibrated the way it should be. And again, this water has been sitting a bit. I stirred it around. It should be right around 32. And the great thing about these thermometers, they give you a little bit of headspace, right? 2 degree increments, front or back. But essentially, again, what you do is you put this right in the middle in your sensing area. From there, you turn this guy, and then you make it to where it's at that 32 degrees. You might have to give it a little push, but then from there, it's gonna read it properly for you. So again, bimetallic stem thermometer, has a dimple, has these marks. This one you wanna make sure you're calibrating before you go and start feeding the folks in your house, your family, your guests, whoever it is. And again, I recommend that ice point method. From there, and again, I know I'm throwing a lot of terminology out there for you guys, but really what you're looking at is if you see this guy, you see it, it's common, just think, oh, that one I probably have to calibrate. And then it tells you in the instructions in the packaging on how to do that. The better ones, so this one is a fancy one, right? This is a food service. It has the NSF label, that it's been certified and all that to be safe in a commercial kitchen. But this is what they call a thermocouple. You notice that the stem on this guy, especially at the tip, is a lot thinner. Now this is designed for you to be able to read temperatures instantly and then just at the very tip. So this makes this thermometer great for both thick and thin foods. So if you have hamburger patties or a thinner cut of beef or pork or whatever it is, then the thermocouple is the way to go. This specific one does come with a cover, of course. You take the cover off, And then it's basically just an on and off. This specific one actually is ready to go down to negative 58 degrees and all the way up to 300 degrees. So for you folks that are out and you're smoking and you're getting those high temperatures in your ribs and your roast and your brisket, all that good stuff, right? Definitely get a good proper thermometer. And again, if you get the digital ones, you don't have to go through all the mess of having to calibrate or even sitting there having to wait for that dial to go to the proper space. So again, you have your thermocouples, they call them, which are your instant read. If you see them out in the store, the digital ones, right, those are usually going to be the way to go. If you're old school, you probably have one of these just sitting in your drawer. You probably got it in, a gift thing with a couple of spatulas and things like that. That's great, right? But you want to make sure it's calibrated and that you read the instructions fully, because again, you want to keep your family and your guests safe. And then just to finally finish off with these thermometers, they should be washed, rinsed, and sanitized correctly. So you want to wash these guys up properly. Of course, if it's digital, you don't want to, submerge it in water or anything, but you should be washing these properly, not in the dishwasher or anything like that, but hand wash them and wash them well, let them air dry in your home. So to sum it up, right, we want to keep folks safe. FSIS.fda.gov is a great resource for you to jump on. We're going to have some links down in the description as well. If you look up Department of Health, Georgia, Department of Agriculture, Georgia, there's some nice tips and tricks. Even now, right, there was, tropical storm season and stuff that could be happening. You never know when the power is going to go out. So there's some nice tips and tricks on there right now as well to what to do in that situation that the power goes out, right? How are you keeping your food safe? And then the final thing I just want to touch on is properly thawing food, right? So you definitely don't want to have stuff just sitting out on the counter overnight. If you're thawing a turkey, anything like that, best way to do it is to make sure you give yourself enough time, right? Thaw it in the fridge. If at anything, you should be thawing things like that if they're just sitting there under running water, right? Or an ice bath with running water, right? As long as things are continuously cycling, you're okay. And then when it comes to feeding folks, right? Stuff is out, you have it sitting on the counter. Just the good rule of thumb is 4 hours. If I have stuff sitting on the counter, then I either need to eat it, cool it back down within 4 hours, or just toss it. So just remember that the key term there is 4 hours, right? If it's been sitting out too long or past that 4 hours, the risk of you getting sick definitely grows. Once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for talking shiitake with me, getting a little bit serious on here around food health and food safety. We don't want people with stomach aches, after they've been to your home and have eaten your delicious food, right? So let's be safe out there. Make sure you get the right thermometer, you pick the right one for you. Make sure you check out these links in the description and that you're being food safe. And to finish it off, if you are a business and you are looking to get certified under food protection management, like a ServSafe certificate, we do offer that at Leaven Kitchen. If you head up to our website, leavenkitchen.com, under resources, I'm personally a ServSafe proctor, ServSafe instructor, so definitely hit us up if you're looking to get certified with ServSafe classes, and we can get you taken care of here at Leaven Kitchen. So once again, guys, this has been In the Kitchen with Fern. Thanks for stopping by. Darling Josephine is an event space with a soon-to-be added coffee shop and communal cafe still under construction, and is located in a former school auditorium and courtyard at the Academy Lofts, Adair Park. The building officially opened its doors September 19, 1912, then known as George W. Adair Elementary School. Located in the heart of the Adair Park neighborhood, it was also constructed with the community in mind to be a gathering place for its residents, but shuttered its doors in 1973 as those residents fled for the suburbs. Located just 2 blocks from an entrance to the Atlanta Beltline's West Side Trail and just a 10-minute walk to the West End MARTA station, DJ plays host to a wide variety of events from weddings, birthday parties, meetings, and can even accommodate Atlanta's ever-growing film industry. The concept was created due to the lack of spaces created for marginalized communities to be able to simply be themselves, especially on the lines of gender, race, and sexual orientation. More importantly, Crystal Rodriguez, owner of Darling Josephine's goal is to bring back the idea of a community space, a space that truly reflects the people who inhabit this city. To learn more about this amazing space and to schedule your next event, please visit www.darlingjosephine.space. All right, y'all, thanks again for stopping by and joining us here at the Hall in Darling Josephine. Again, it's at Adair Park, beautiful facility. Definitely check out their website, www.darlingjosephine.space. So if you're looking to run an event, they host quite a few different folks, right? You can shoot movies here, right? It's an old auditorium, weddings, ceremonies, big meetings, right? They just recently did, actually this past weekend, they ran a couple meetings for a couple different organizations. And again, you can find all that info at darlingjosephine.space. But this has been another Talk Shitake podcast. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Really what we're trying to do here is support our small businesses in the Atlanta area, in particular those Leaven members that work their tails off every single day at Leaven Kitchen. So check us out on social media, Leaven_kitchen, and then come back and see us next time where we'll talk about some more food safety. We'll talk about some other news in the food world, talk to a few different small businesses. So come back and join us.